Can you guys hear me? All right, perfect. I'm super impressed that didn't completely blow out as I was walking up here. Hello, everybody. I'm here today to talk to you about why it's important to treat your clients like it's their birthday. I've never thought of myself as a big birthday person. I don't like being the center of attention. I don't like when people sing to me. And I don't like when people make me feign surprise while I'm opening presents. And the more that I looked through my photo albums, I found evidence to prove this. I found this evidence basically, and the more I kept looking through my slides, I started to realize that even though I thought that I didn't like being the center of attention, the more I looked at photos of myself when I was younger, I started to realize that despite the fact that I thought I didn't like being the center of attention, I actually think I do. I think I've been lying to myself. I mean, look at this face. This is not the face of a person who doesn't like being the center of attention. And as I kept flipping, I kept seeing into my adulthood that I still have that face every single time, despite the fact that I don't like being center of attention, apparently. The thing is that it's really important to treat people like it's their birthday. And so today, I'm here to talk to you about customer experience and why it's important to deliver the best possible of experience by treating people like it's their birthday. When we started Breather, we did a survey to find out how people were hearing about us. And the overwhelming response was word of mouth, 52%. And because of that, we decided we wanted to have great word of mouth. And the way to get great word of mouth was to make sure that we delivered an experience that exceeded our customers' expectations. Now, that's always a little bit easier said than done. There's sometimes obstacles that are out of your control. But when they are, the biggest thing you can do is treat people like it's their birthday. So, I want to use this cake as a metaphor for happiness, a metaphor for how people feel when it's their birthday. You can think of it as a chocolate cake, a cheesecake, whatever you want. Our expectations all might be different, but we're all having cake. So entrepreneurs can sometimes overlook that a large part of growing their business is making sure to have a happy, satisfied return customer base. You have to work hard to not only differentiate yourself from your competition, but also make sure that you have satisfied customers and customers that return enthusiastically. So, like I was saying before, we did a survey to find out how people heard about us. It was overwhelmingly word of mouth. And the way we figured that we could do this the first thing we could do to set the stage to make sure that they were going to get this kind of experience every time was there's 3 different things. One of them is to anticipate their needs. Now, there's this term in Japanese hospitality called omotenashi that I really love, and we've kind of based the way we design everything about Breather on this. The core of it is to basically anticipate your guests' needs before they have to ask for it. At Breather, we feel that it's one of life's great opportunities to be served, and we take the pride in serving others. We set the stage to have an excellent 5-star experience for our customers, even when it's inconvenient to us. Now, we'll literally do whatever it takes, and if you used our spaces, I hope that you've maybe had this experience. We delivered extra seats. We bring snacks and drinks when people need it. We've even facilitated not 1, not 2, but 3 marriage proposals in our spaces. So it's suffice to say, we feel like it's a really important thing to make sure that we can take away all that extra stuff that you have to worry about when you have to just be focusing on your work or whatever you choose to use our spaces for. So let's get back to this cake. It's the middle of the afternoon. I know you guys are probably fidgety from having to sit down all day, and I'm sure you're tired and you can use a little pick-me-up maybe. So I brought this cake. You're probably maybe all really happy because you're going to get cake now. I know a lot of people were excited seeing me walk around with it. This is me making an attempt to treat you like it's your birthday. The next thing is to set the stage for a consistent experience. And when it's not, find out why. Customers return because they like what happened last time. You're not necessarily going to get another shot. So you have to proactively set the stage for your customers to consistently love your product. You got to make each time they use it as amazing as it was last time. And it's important that their expectations align with reality each time. But when they don't, let them tell you why. Listen to your clients. In fact, embrace the haters. The haters are the only ones with the guts to tell you what's really wrong with your product. Chances are, they're probably the ones who probably love your product the most because they cared enough to actually even tell you any feedback about it. From early on at Breather, we've had a repeat customer who just loves to tell us what went wrong every time he reserves with us. And everyone used to groan when they'd see his name come up in the email queue. Now, personally, for me, I thought he was as a small business owner at the time with barely anybody using our product at the time, I thought he was one of the greatest people ever because he wouldn't just complain, he would tell me what he didn't like. And because of that, we were able to tweak things because of that hater. I took everybody around basically that was groaning and complaining every time they saw his name, and I told them all to treat them like it's his birthday. Instead of listening to him, taking him like he was complaining, and treating him like a chore, we chose to listen to him. And instead of disappointing him, we did whatever it took to make things right. And he's still a customer today. In fact, he's one of our biggest cheerleaders because we did right by him early on. So let's get back to this cake. Love this cake. So you think you're all having cake now, maybe, but what if I told you only the left side of the room was getting cake? Now, I'm sure the people on the right side of the room, you probably feel a little jilted right now because I promised you something and I've taken it away from you. And maybe you were in a good mood before, but now you're kind of, disgruntled. This is a good example of when your expectations don't align with reality. On the other hand, the left side of the room, you're probably feeling pretty good right now because, cake and everything. So what this could lead to is setting your expectations too high on the left side or too low on the right side. And how am I going to meet them again the next time we meet, if we meet? How do I realign your expectations so you'll walk away with a good impression of me? How do I know you don't think I'm going to offer you cake every time you come to hear me speak? Which leads me to my next point. Be memorable in a good way. There are two outcomes to a client there's two outcomes. A client having a good experience or a client having a bad experience. The bad experience, I can guarantee you that even if it only happens a couple of times, those are the people who are going to go tell everybody who listens how bad it was, and bad word of mouth will inevitably follow. On the other hand, a customer who's had a negative experience or an exceedingly positive experience that maybe had a negative beginning but a positive outcome, they're also likely to share their whole experience with people, but they'll probably also mention how it was rectified at the end and how they were pleased with it, which is still a good, it's like a Hail Mary, but it's still a good possibility. In fact, no one's perfect. We sometimes get people whose expectations didn't align with reality. But when that happens, it's all about, say it with me, treating them like it's their birthday. Here's a simple guide that our customer care team uses as a resolution sort of funnel. One is to make a connection. Come to the conversation with a positive attitude and empathy for the person. Be a kind human. Secondly, assess the situation. Take ownership of what went wrong and see what you can do to resolve it. Don't pretend that whatever they called about wasn't a big deal or something. It's probably a pretty big deal to them if they're taking the time to connect with you. Third, plan based on the possibilities. What's the path towards resolution? How can you manage their expectations? And lastly, achieve results. Did you make amends? Did you treat them like it was their birthday? Now, right side of the room, I acknowledge I've let you down. I told you I'm not giving you cake anymore, and that wasn't cool. How can I make this right? How can I figure out what option would delight you? So the way I see it is that I can, A, say, I'm sorry, and go on with my life, which I don't think is that great an option. 2, I can tell you, you'll all get cake next time you see me, but how do I know we're ever even gonna see each other again? I prefer to always go for option 3, which is to exceed expectations. I'd rather have a cake delivered right to your front door and treat you like it's your birthday. Because in my world, there's always room for cake for people who need it. Thank you. Oh, and by the way, the cake is downstairs at Breather's booth if you want it.